everyone. So for today's art activity, what we're going to be doing is some leaf rubbings. So for this one, you're going to need a range of drawing materials. So the more drawing materials you can find in your house, the better for this one. So I've got a biro, a pencil, some black chalk and a crayon. You might just have one of these. You might have all of these. You might have different ones. Just anything to draw with will be great. A mixture of different papers. So I've got some lined paper, some old magazines, some plain paper, whatever you can find. Might be newspapers. Yeah. And you're also going to need obviously a leaf. So I've just been outside to forage one leaf. It's quite important when you're finding your leaf and choosing your leaf to choose one that has quite prominent veins and details on the back. So one way to check that is to just run your finger across your leaf and ask yourself if you can feel lots of lumps and bumps. And if you can, that's a pretty good leaf for doing some leaf rubbings. Okay, so when you've got all your materials, we will make a start. Okay, so the first leaf rubbing I'm going to do is using my lined paper, and I'm going to use my charcoal to start with. So just first check is just make sure that your leaf fits the paper, and then we're going to place it underneath our paper. Now you're going to need to use both of your hands here. One hand to sort of flatten and support that leaf from keeping it nice and still, and the other hand is going to be doing your leaf rubbing, okay? So starting at the top, we're going to use our charcoal on its side, and we're just going to rub, putting sort of a medium pressure onto, again, making sure my hand is always supporting and holding that leaf underneath nice and still. Because you'll find you'll want to move around, but just make sure it's keeping it nice and flat. And go right down there to the vein. Okay, nice. I think that's as good as that one's maybe going to get. Oops, ripped it last minute. There we are. So that's my first leaf rubbing. So that's with charcoal. So that's a really nice, successful one. And you'll notice that it sort of picks up some of the veins that sometimes we forget to add when we're drawing leaves. So it's a really nice reminder, even just so we can see all those little details in our leaves. Okay, so that's the first one. Next one, I'm going to use my old magazine piece of paper. So I'm going to use the same leaf again. Stick it underneath nice and flat. Now this time I'm going to use my my pencil. So similar way to how I might have used, I'm just going to turn it the other way so you can see that. Similar to how I might use my charcoal, I'm going to use my pencil on a horizontal. So rather than using it vertically how we would normally write with, I'm just flipping it on its side, and I'm going to rub it sideways. So again, you'll notice as it's going over those little details of my leaf, it's picking and making them a little bit darker. So as I'm coming over my paper, I think I might need to put a little bit more pressure so we can see those marks really nice and clearly. So you'll find that some bits of your leaf are quite successful, and the veins and the marks really are picked up by your drawing material, and some bits are not quite as successful, but that's fine. Okay? Okay, the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to use my biro this time. So this is probably the trickiest drawing material to use. But let's give it a go. So it's exactly the same way. We're going to use it horizontally and rub it across. I'm using one hand to support that leaf and keep it nice and still and flat. And I'm going to just, this time, press quite lightly with your pen. And I'm rubbing across. I'm going to explore doing some different directions. So this is sort of a little bit like doing hatching and cross hatching, which are two shading techniques that you might be familiar with. So it's quite interesting marks, this one. You'll see that where the veins have been on the leaf, it's sort of acted as a bit of a resist. That's quite an interesting interpretation of that leaf there. Okay, and the final one I'm going to have a go at is using my crayon. So you might have, this is a very unusual sort of crayon that I've just found in my drawer actually. But see what you can find. You might have just the normal crayons, which you can just take the wrapper off and just use it horizontally. So again, exactly the same, placing my leaf underneath, keeping it nice and still, and I'm going to sort of stroke upwards this time for this crayon. Okay, so that's my final leaf rubbing. So it's really interesting to see, and you might then want to lay all your leaf rubbings out and just think about which different material has sort of picked up different marks. You know, so it's interesting how the pencils picked up much more of the sort of very fine veins, and my charcoals picked up the overall shape. So have a little look at yours and think about which one's been the most successful and which one you think is the best representation of a leaf, or which one do you prefer. You might then want to cut these out, you know, and make a pattern. You might want to arrange them once you've cut them out and have a go at arranging them in some repeat different patterns. You also could explore some different leaves, some different drawing materials. You could repeat the same one, the one you think's been really successful. You could have a go at doing that a few different times on the same page. So there's endless possibility with these. So I'd love to see how you do, as always. So let me know how you get on. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one.